Echoes of Time concert will be presented by Anchored Sound theatre duo and some renowned artists. Now these echoes will be rendered through music and live acting, narrated to capture the essence of the time. The concert features Anchored Sound's 35-piece all-black symphony orchestra, and it's a 26-member youth choir and a group of renowned artists. Well, today in studio we're now joined by Ofentse Pitse, who's the first young black woman to own and conduct a black orchestra band. Thanks so much indeed for joining us. Welcome to the program.
Thank you so much for having me, Peter. It's an honor to be here.
Wow.
You know, and to be talking about such an important work as emancipating the black child through the arts and music. So it's an honor for me to be here as well.
We're honored to have you actually.
Thank
now,
you,
I've been watching orchestras for years and years, and I've seen lots of young black people amongst, you know, these orchestras.
Yes.
And it hadn't struck me until now that there's never been an all-black orchestra.
Ever. Like in the entire, not even just in the African diaspora, but in the entire world, you don't find like an all-black orchestra. So that's what makes this so unique, so important, and it also echoes that the fact that we all have to get behind us, you know, because it's never been done. And the fact that it comes from Africa, you know, the first of its kind, we all have to like support this and really hold hands and hold arms in order to support such an initiative.
All right, so take us through the journey that got you to the point that you said, I've got to do something.
Well, I grew up loving classical music. I started in the Salvation Army and I was taught how to play an instrument. So from there, obviously, I mean, it's marches in the Salvation Army. You will be introduced to classical music and jazz. And then from there, I got introduced to your operas. And I was like, I saw something kind of weird because I was like, okay, but where are our brothers and sisters here?
Yeah.
You know, and then I was kind of conflicted by that. And I wanted to sort of like challenge that narrative. And then it's more of a gift than anything because I don't have any musical degree. I studied architecture, so that's all I know. But this is more of a gift than anything. And then I also wanted to do something to give back to the community, right? But not just to do face painting or whatever. I just wanted to give something back in the form of art. And the beautiful thing about classical music is that it requires a certain character. It builds a certain character within you because you have to view yourself in a certain way. If you are singing maybe an Italian sonnet and you are depicting a king or a regiment or whatever, you have to see yourself in that light. So it also works in the psyche as well. Like I noticed that, okay, these young people are actually changing, you know, their lives actually change through this music. And most of them come from like disenfranchised homes where you still have the long drop toilet system, but they get to rehearsal and they're able to emulate Pavarotti and all that. So I looked at that, I was like, how about we make it African? So and then we looked at the works of Mzilikazi Khumalo, which is the great professor, which for me is like the real life living Stravinsky. So I wanted to just celebrate not only his music, but to pass the baton, to say that there's actually African composers who write amazing music, and how about we celebrate that? So it's to also create that generational storytelling feel, to say that we shouldn't now celebrate people after they're gone and say that he was here. How about we do it now? And black on black on black.
So how did you go about assembling this team? Who did you find and from where?
I think because the group of friends that I associate myself with, most of them were musicians. So this started with conversations that we were having, maybe in the kitchen or maybe at band rehearsal, like I was saying at church. And then we were like, okay, how can we go about this? And you know, when you're dealing with, obviously we have this collective thing that it's too hard or it cannot be done. So for me, I'm a go-getter. And then I was like, okay, let's see. If I fail, I will fail trying. So then I went for it, and then before you know it, people will actually, we started having the same conversation that it'll actually be interesting. How about, you know, there's like, the first violin section is like 4 of us, all black, the horns all black, you know, the cellist all black, and even the percussion section all black. And these are young people who have dreams. It's not just people who, I don't know, come from well-off homes or whatever. These are young people who have dreams and who just want the opportunity.
And talented, I guess. This is the key, isn't it? Talented. You want to celebrate excellence and put it out there that you can be just as good and better.
Yes, yes.
All right. So tell us about, I mean, so some people at home are thinking a band. I've seen black bands. What differentiates an orchestra from a band?
Well,
give us some of the instruments that play and that kind of thing.
Well, I think the the color of it all.
Yeah.
Orchestra is more light and more elegant. You know, I mean, bands maybe, for lack of a better word, you make noise, but with orchestra, there's a certain reverence about it, you know, and hence it comes from Europe. You know, you go to Italy, that's all they know. From Tuesday to Sunday, it's just orchestras. So bands have a thing where they just maybe are able to play anything. With orchestras, it's music, it's notes, it's standards, it's grades, it's techniques. So there's something very distinct and very like prestige about an orchestra. So hence now the juxtaposition of...
And the teams are bigger, aren't they? And trying
yes.
to put it all together to make one piece of music is quite a thing. All right, so have you played in front of audiences? How have you been received so far?
We have, and for most part people have been shocked, because I mean, the first African black woman to actually conduct. That's tough, to stand in front of people who, I mean, they're very good at what they do. Some of them have and are part of the most celebrated orchestras in South Africa. Some of them have studied overseas and actually have like a great grand respect. So now to stand in front of them and have them under my command, like command them with my baton, it's an honor. So it's part of the whole thing of saying that I want to add to the rise of the black economy in a way. So how about we use art? Because you find that most of them are talented, but then they have to now go to corporate during the day because this field does not really pay or whatever. So hoping that along the way we can create an environment where this actually is sustainable for them, and also for those who are looking at them like, I want to be like that. All
right. Did you say you're not classically trained yourself, but you've taught yourself, and there you are standing in front of this full-on orchestra? It's a gift.
It's a gift, and observing people, like in church, you see how the conductor conducts and how certain, because my research is based on what I listen to, what I watch. So, and I also have like a mentor. I'm mentored by the great Tammy Zungu, who's the head of music TUT. So he's also very stern, and so I cannot but be great.
So you must have had to prove yourself for your orchestra to trust you.
Yes, yes. And each and every day I have to prove myself. So I have to stay like 1 foot ahead of everything else, because people are expecting me to do like something wrong, or to catch me off, or to be offbeat, or to get a technique wrong. So now it becomes like that challenge of saying that, okay, now I have to, you know, before I shine, I have to polish.
And you're a young woman, and over the years, I haven't seen a lot of young black girls getting into this, and I wonder, has that changed, and how have you been able to address this in your orchestra?
Well, to be quite honest, I've done my research, and I stand to be corrected though. I'm the only young black female in the whole world who's actually doing this, and the second black to be doing it. The first, there's Roderick Cox, who's actually the assistant conductor for I think the Minnesota orchestra, and then there's Ofentse Pitse. So, I mean, coming from Africa, that's a big deal.
What about your band in terms of black girls participating? Have you got a good number?
There are actually not a huge number, but there are those you know, black girls, and there's one who plays the trombone, and when I see her just pull that trombone and that slide, I'm like, wow, that's girl power. There's one who plays the violin, the French horn. So it's also that thing to say that at the end of the day, we ought to not make it very like male dominated or whatever, because most part, if it's not like very Eurocentric or non-African in a way, it's male.
Yes. Very exciting. So if people want to watch Anchored Sound, where do we go?
Well, on YouTube we are there, Anchored Sound, Instagram at Anchored Sound. We're not yet on Twitter, but people can follow me on Instagram and Twitter because I always post the stuff. And it's actually just a great experience. So even with the videos that I post, you will see that it's more than just music and making noise. It's about an experience, about just being very flat-footed about storytelling in the African context.
All right, and the next event?
Tonight we are presenting the Echoes of Time, featuring fellow healers, seekers, and alchemists, Nduduzo Makatini, Mbuso Khoza, Linda Skakani, Ndabo Zulu, Ayanda Sigad on the drums, and Zwelake Duma. And this is featuring now the 35-piece orchestra, as well as my youth choir. And we also being directed and curated by, you know, the illustrious, the theatre duo. So it's going to be an amazing experience. So we've been rehearsing. Even after this, I have to rush to rehearsals. This is Joburg Theatre's main stage, which is the Mandela stage. So
Joburg Theatre,
yes,
tonight,
7 p.m. to
45 of you in the orchestra, plus a choir.
Yes.
This is going to be a full-on experience.
Amazing experience. And not only that, we're doing the works of Professor Mzelega's Khumalo, which is Ushaka. He wrote the whole oratorio for Ushaka, Kasenza Ngakona, as well as Princess Magogo. So we can expect just storytelling in its greater context. Yeah.
Because of your uniqueness, I mean, I see a global journey for you. Is this what's in your heart?
Please get us there. Of course. I mean, from here on, obviously trying to get the relevance, it's hard to get people on board, to be quite honest. Even to pull this off, I don't know how I did it, but I think because it's time. It's time we do it. So I'm hoping we can get the relevant people on board to say that, you know what, we believe in this, you have already started, let's help you cross.
And I guess this is where sponsors come into play.
Yes, please. So we need all of those sponsors and, you know, various stakeholders to be like, let's help you cross, because it's not just for us, it's big for Africa and the arts as a whole. So that's what's important about everyone just coming on board.
Oh, Ofentse, we're so excited. I'm going to try my hardest to come through tonight.
Please, I'll have you on
so
VIP.
We can get tickets as we arrive, right?
Yes, yes, yes. You can get tickets. Box office is there at the Joburg Theatre. So full-on experience.
What time?
It's amazing. 7 p.m. to 10 p.m. Okay. And there's also Zawadi Yamungu, like she is the real live voice of Princess Magogo. Wow. So yeah, it's a full-on experience. So I
am sold.
I'm excited because I'm going to see you tonight as well.
I know that I'm going to be an Anchored Sound fan.
Yes, yes, thank you so much.
Thanks so much, and congratulations, and well done on this amazing initiative and leading the way. Thanks so much.
Thank you so much. All right.
All right, so there you have it, Joburg Theatre this evening. Make sure you get down there. You're going to see something you have never seen before anywhere in the world. That's an all-black orchestra accompanied by an accomplished choir that will be performing tonight at the Joburg Theatre. Make a turn there. All right, we take a quick break, and when we come back, we'll have more for you on the agenda.